Thanks for staying with us here on Morning Live. Now, the National Transport Movement says that it is concerned about the livelihood of employees of South African Airways. This, of course, after the national carrier cancelled 19 of their domestic and international flights this week. The ailing airline recently announced that they are still waiting for the promised 2 billion rand bailout from government when they entered business rescue last month. Now, the NTM agreed to a 5.9% pay hike for the 2019-20 financial year in December, and the salaries of employees are expected to be adjusted on the 1st of February 2020. But this increment is possibly in danger, in jeopardy, given what is currently going out. So looking at this situation and, of course, more broadly at SAA, we are in conversation now with Mashudu RaphethaJoining, who joins us from the National Transport Movement. Thanks so much for your time once again.
Thanks, Sakina, and to the viewers out there.
Let's start with this agreement, the 5.9% salary increase, expected salary adjustment on the 1st of February. Given what's happening now, SAA having to ground flights, waiting for that bailout, 2 billion rand, Treasury saying they're not able to dispense of some of the assets quickly enough. What's going to happen?
Sakina, it's a precarious situation, but on our side, we are not expecting any deviation from the agreement that we've concluded with SAA. Because you'll recall that when we were at the CCMA, that 5.9 was already extended to the pilots. And on the 6th of November, when we negotiated this 5.9, SAA, the only part that was between the agreement with us was about the back pay. So we have sacrificed a lot. Our members would have received these monies last year. So we are hoping that when the government fund this thing, because it's not going to affect much. It's just a drip in the ocean. It's a little money as compared to what other hierarchies of employees get, for instance, the pilots. So our members are expecting 5.9%. And it's unfortunate that there was a strike. Which strike SAA was on its strike, on its own. Because on the eve of the strike, 48 hours before the strike, SAA told us that we're going to ground all the airlines. And then we decided to say, no, we cannot go out on strike when SAA is grounding the airlines. It means the airline itself is on strike. Then we were strategic. As a collective, as NTM, we said, no, what? We need to assess the material conditions on the ground. We decided to hold back. That's why we still have SAA. Had we went out on that strike, there would be no SAA.
So, given the situation now, the airline is grounding flights. They are saying there is no money even to keep operations, going as per normal. So, does that in any way, shape, or form affect your agreement?
No, I don't think it will affect our agreement. When we met the BRPs on the 15th, they told us that they are going to implement a temporary measure to conserve cash. And one of those things were the suspensions of certain flights, not cancellation. So when we inquired with SA management this week, we were told that they are consolidating these flights based on the volume. You remember that there was you might have read in the media now about Flight Center, which advised clients that they are no longer going to make bookings on behalf of SAA. It dented SAA image. Some other pundits or doomsayers out there also said that clients must not fly SAA if SAA is not safe, whereas pilots were not on strike, whereas other technicians were not on strike. That has dented SAA, and people cannot start thinking that this problem started today. But when we engaged the BRPs, they did say that they will prioritize salaries. We are happy with that because the pain of having delayed salaries in November had inconvenienced our members. So we are resolute that we're expecting the adjustment to be done and the back pay to be done in March. So the agreement is still said. SAA has not come forward for us that this agreement is at jeopardy. And then to go beyond
so that... So you've not engaged with SAA with regard to those merits at all?
No. SAA have not come forward. We've got a recognition with them. They know where they need to come. But so far, there is no engagement that the agreement is in jeopardy.
Okay. And then also just taking a look at the issue that you mentioned now about agents who are not booking SAA flights. What sort of impact do you suspect that will have on the operations of the airline going forward? And of course, the rescue of SAA, how that impacts on the business rescue process?
You see, Sakina, we need to exercise patriotism. We need to be patriotic. We didn't know that our suggestions are going to realize so soon. We have submitted key initiative number 21 out of our initiatives. We've said SAA is the right time now to have in-house tour operating and travel agents. The flight center has got a lot of clients who agree with that. It's an Australian company, but we do not have our own in-house. We have lost it when we started outsourcing all these things away. Now we are left vulnerable. They only love SAA when things are rosy. Now that SAA is facing this, and all this was caused by poor governance. All these things, you see, these problems didn't start yesterday. They started ages when the government will invest, will give 2 billion, and then leave it there. Now it is now changed that it is interference. It's not interference, Sakina. The fact is that it was deliberate for government then to just throw 4 billion. They don't care, and then they go behind. They get these little tenders. Tenders are wrecking SAA. If you get to that corporate building, you will see a lot of people going up in floors. You don't even know them, having fires. What is it that they're doing? They need a tender, including a TV. You get a tender, you can't do that. We also dealt with the issue of SAA having, look at how Emirates, you look at BA, you look at Qatar Airways, you look at Turkish. They have bombarded the space because there is no cooperation in the interdepartmental in terms of government. And the shareholder should then look at this and review. When we met the government on the 19th of August last year, we did say, Minister of Transport, Minister of Tourism, DECO, we need to come and collaborate. Because otherwise, SAA, the flag itself, it's a pride. Recently on the 8th of, I remember after the 8th of May, there was an inauguration of President Ramaphosa. Fly past were doing there. Everybody was saying, I'm happy about this thing. But now, today, everybody says SA must just vanish. What about the 10,000 people that are employed? What about the service providers that are around in all those airports?
Well, some are saying that it doesn't necessarily follow that all those jobs would be lost because whoever takes it over would have to retain some of the workforce.
They are already feeling it. People are already feeling it as we speak. We are organizing at Swissport, we are organizing at Bidvest, we are organizing at all those companies that are there. We are already getting letters to say we didn't get so much. We are thinking of restructuring. For instance, the bid restructuring process has started. We have to go and save jobs. LSG was restructuring. SA Express was restructuring. At least we saved. But otherwise, this is the big elephant. But there is a big elephant within SAA. There are untouchables. There is pilots. We welcome the statement from the ANC to say we're now going to focus on the evergreen agreements. Yes, let them focus on the evergreen agreements. That's where we need to start. And we also welcome the fact that government is taking into cognizance that they have to minimize job losses. They cannot then tell us that restructuring doesn't mean retrenchment. We are aware that that is going to happen, but we are ready. And we know we've got a well-experienced team to save jobs. We've done it even at Express. We've done it at LSG. We will also do it this time around. I also have done it in 2015 where nobody got forced retrenchment.
Well, that's where we're going to leave it for the time being. Mashudu Raphetha is the president of the National Transport Movement, talking to us about the latest developments at SAA, saying that they do not anticipate any change to the agreement that they have with SAA regarding salary adjustments and increment. Let's take a break.